morning. Are these the most uncomfortable seats in the world? You don't want to hear anybody talk. You'll want to get up here, you want your moment, and you want to go celebrate. I want to share with you only two stories. One story of someone and how they were to what they become, and the second story about somebody that you all know very well. Now the first story, as soon as you hear how it starts, you're going to think, I don't like where this is going. Because it starts at 2:18 a.m. Now how many of you have a story or have heard a story that starts at 2:18 a.m. and it ends well? But we come through all of this. I was a sick competitor in high school and college, athlete that had nothing else going on except, how to beat somebody else out of what they had. That was how I came up. That's what you knew. Because at the end, there was only so much of the pie. There was just a little bitty part. And whenever the buzzer went off, whenever the last pitch was thrown, whatever it was, you had to have more of that pie than they did. I mean, that's all I knew. Go compete. The same rough-edged kid that, let's be perfectly honest. When I first got into college, right out of high school, after my third freshman year, I figured out I wasn't in the right place. Academic Affairs figured out I wasn't in the right place at that time too, so they asked me to move on. It's funny how even with that kind of an attitude, you can progress in business very, very rapidly. And in my mid to late 20s, I was in boardrooms with guys 2 and 3 times my age. And I was not gonna let them intimidate me. And I could cut a swath through a boardroom a mile wide because I was so defensive and so insecure. And anytime they would ask me just a legitimate question, I'd let them have it. You don't question me, I know what I'm doing. And then after I got fired a couple of times, I started realizing that, there had to be a different way to go about this. There's got to be a different way to approach people. I'd see other people that seemed to get along, and I thought I was getting along. I was getting tolerated, is what I was getting. And it was very difficult to find out, but I got plugged into a company that everybody was into personal development. It's the first time I'd ever really been introduced to it in my mid-20s. You can actually build your life, they would say. And this is how you set a goal and you go get it. And these are the different things you can do to have this life, this great life. And I would go and I would put my head down and I would do exactly what they told me, just like my other coaches did. They'd tell me to do something and I'd go do it and you'd have results. They'd plow and go and go and go and raise my head up and be nowhere. Or have just a little bit of success and take a breath and go, yeah, this is what it's all about, and go and just crash instantly. And after what I began to realize was that I thought differently than most of the people around me. And it wasn't due to anything innate in me. Trust me, I've got a history of screwing up that most of you cannot match if you combine. But something different had happened, and I had to look back at what it was. What was the change? What was it that was different? Not only about me from the people around me, but me from the person I used to be. Okay, but they, in combination, create everything else that we've always been told was a success trait. You have these underneath all of those underlying success traits. I've read books where they're talking about, there are 64 success traits. There's 101 success traits. That made my head hurt instantly. Like, oh my gosh, I got to keep track of 101 things? I'm not going to do it. No wonder I'm a failure. I can't keep track of my keys, let alone 100 success traits. I'm not going to do it. But what I found is that each of those success traits were a result. And when you got to looking closer at them, I realized that all of the successful people, the group A's that I eventually put together, they had all 7. The group B's, which were moderate successes to abject failures, were missing 1 or more of these 7. Each one of you in this room has every one of these in you right now. That all of a sudden helps you to dictate everything, because what I've learned about mindset is that it is something that operates on the same level as breathing. Okay, some of you are nodding your head, you know what I mean, because how often do you think about breathing throughout the course of your day? You don't, until I mention it. And then you realize, oh yeah, I can control that. I can stop it, start it, fast, slow, whatever it is, I've got it. Mindset operates the same way. Whenever you're consciously engaged in these things, you can set it up. You can decide how it shapes. And how you decide in those conscious moments is what dictates what comes to you in those unconscious moments, those times when it's just... I want you guys to really grab a hold of as we go through today is that you have things in your life right now that correspond directly to the things you want in your life in the future. You want to have a business that impacts millions of people worldwide? Start impacting one person now. Okay, that's how you tie it together. That's how you start chasing it like it's your reality right now. It is. It just may not be as big as what you think it'll be later. It may be shaped totally different by the time you're done. Okay, but you can grab pieces of it and bring it back here now. And that'll be a major key. Don't think any of this stuff is over your head. Don't think any of this stuff is beyond you. It's not.